Hey everybody. So I just got tagged in a post where somebody was asking what are the advantages and disadvantages to solar, and I was about to write out my response to that, but instead I thought I would just make a video and kind of answer some of those objections or basically the question itself. So obviously I'm in the solar industry. I am an independent seller for power solar. Now, you kind of have to take what I say through those lenses. So obviously I'm going to have a more positive perspective of solar, but I'll try and give you some of the negatives and try and answer those negatives as best as I can. So one of the first ones, the most common objections is people say they don't like the look of solar. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your preference. There's a variety of different installations. Some of them look good, some look bad. The good ones have those nice panels. They're black, monocrystalline panels, sleek, black trim. Everything looks flush. And some of those bad ones, those are the ones that really stick out in people's heads, like those blue panels, blocky, thick panels. Yeah, I wouldn't want that in my house. So, yeah, so the look is definitely a concern for some people. And I guess it really depends on what company you partner with as to what look you want on your home, you know. Now, if you're just stuck, you don't like the look of solar, period, then there's really nothing you can do about that. Like, you either kind of can get over the look, or you just stay with the utility company. It's kind of like one or the other. Or you gotta weigh out the advantages. You know, like you put this system on your roof, which you may not like the look of, but it saves you a ton of money. Can you kind of get over the look of it? So that's kind of how I would answer that. And so the next objection that I've heard a lot, especially online, is the cost. Okay, so again, it depends on what company you go with. So if you go with a solar company that has a higher, what is called a PPW, price per watt, then yeah, the cost of that system is going to be more. What I mean by that is it may take 5 to 7 years for you to break even. Now you're in the green, as opposed to just staying with your utility company. There's a variety of different companies out there, okay? Not all companies are like that, where it takes 5 to 7 years before you're seeing a return. Power, for instance, it's either right away you're going to see those savings or pretty quickly after you get it installed. I'm looking at either same day savings or like a year or so, if that makes sense. So in addition to that, people think cost. Okay, how much does it cost to get installed? Well, nothing actually. So because you pay taxes, my dog's barking for some reason. So because you pay taxes, your tax dollars actually cover the installation of the system. 30% is what the government pays for the installation, which is just your tax dollars, like I said. Which, by them doing that, it allows more people to get into solar. People that wouldn't, be able to afford to get into solar. So it really just opens the doors to get more people into green energy. The grid itself is overloaded. The government knows that. There's going to be more brownouts, blackouts if more people don't switch to having solar power. I don't know what my dog is barking at. So to switch to just having more solar power. So that's a real incentive for them to have more people go there. So cost, over the life of the system, people are saving tens of thousands of dollars. And like I said, specifically with me, with power, I'm looking to save people from day one. So then it just becomes, okay, like, do I trust the technology of solar or do I not? Because if you trust the technology of solar, then it makes sense to go in and just have those day one savings. It's just, do you trust it? The biggest indicator I'd say for people, or the biggest reason I would say for people to trust solar is the fact that the utility companies, they have these huge solar fields. Utility companies aren't about really just the green movement, right? So it's advantageous for them to continue to add these solar fields because it's cheaper than them going out and getting people to go out and get the oil, the coal, and stuff like that. And it's a renewable energy source. So once you have it all set up, there's no one there to have to dig or anything like that. It's just the sun beating down those panels and having that return each day. So yeah, one of the next objections I get a lot, or I've gotten a lot, is, oh, well, what if I sell my home? It's a good objection. So what if you sell your home, the next homeowner doesn't want it? Well, the best way to explain this is, like, solar is becoming really, really popular, okay? California, there's a certain percentage of homes that have to be built with solar to offset certain things, you know, and specifically it's because of all, like, the grid taxing there and stuff like that. Like, there's so many EVs and all that there, they have to have solar. And really the rest of the country is becoming that way too. The more EVs we get on the road, the more people are putting demands on the grid from their pools, their heated pools, that sort of thing. You know, the grid can't handle it coming through the power lines. You have to have something on your roof that powers directly into your home, if that makes sense. So what if you sell your home? Well, people are becoming more and more green, more and more educated on solar. So it's becoming something that's in more demand. There's studies that show that these houses with solar are selling at its value about 4 to 5%. Zillow is saying it. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory, which is a branch of the government, is saying it. You know, it's not coming from me, not coming from Power. It's just these are what the studies are showing, and there's indications of that. Now, again, like, will there be somebody that may come and say, I don't want solar on the house, take it down? Highly unlikely, because there's plenty of other houses, and you wouldn't have to entertain their offer in the first place, okay? Like, there's plenty of other people out there who would not only want the solar, but they will want to pay you extra for having your home with solar, because just their cost of living would be cheaper. You know, specifically if you're talking about me with Power, if I get you into solar and you have day one savings, well, your utility bill is here at, say, $300. What if we get it down to $290? Well, this $290 is going to stay down here, you know, and this $300s are going to keep going up and up and up. And that's really just inflation over time. You know, it just, there's no real way to stop it. You know, gas, for instance, back about 20 years ago was $1 a gallon. You can't get gas that price anymore. So what if you sell your home? Okay, it'll be easy to sell. So one of the other objections was roof leaks. I've seen this, and actually I asked for some questions a couple of days ago for objections. Not a lot of people responded to them, but these are some of the common ones, so I figured I'd knock them out. Roof leaks, though. What if your roof leaks after the solar is put on the roof? Okay, that's possible. People can make mistakes. With Power, the company I represent, you know, I'm an independent seller for Power. We cover roof leaks for 25 years. So you'll notice in Florida, if you're having some type of leak, within a couple weeks, it rains so much here, but we're going to cover it for 25 years. You're fine. You're going to be great. You know, some people worry about, well, the roof. What if they have to get a new roof? Okay, that's a valid concern. So you would contact Power or whomever. You'd have them come out and remove the system. The new roof will be put on. and then the system put back on. Okay? Is there a cost associated with it? Of course. But is it going to be more than having utility? Absolutely not. It's going to be negligible compared to the increasing utility rates, you know? So those are some of the common cons that I hear. Let me go into some of the pros, okay? And this is where, you know, obviously I love solar, so this is where I can really be myself, right? So the biggest advantage to solar is the long-term price protection. So what do I mean by that? And I kind of alluded to it earlier. Say the utility bill is $300 and you're down here at $290, okay? Well, $290 is going to stay the same, right? It's never going to change, okay? You know, and what you're doing at this $290 is you're eventually working to free electricity, right? This $300, it has to change, okay? There's a number of things that cause it to change. I don't really want to get into all those. But the example that I just said about gas prices, gas used to be $1, okay? Now today was $3.68, I think. So it's just inflation over time. And guess what? It's not going to stay $300 if you have a $300 utility bill. It's going to keep going up and up and up and up. So your $290 or whatever you get into solar with is actually going to be, you could say, cheaper if you think of it in future terms. Like there'll be so much more value on what you're spending that $290 on in 30 years. You know, it'll be paid off, but $290 25 years from now, you know, think about inflation, how much value that $290 has. Maybe it's $290 isn't $290 anymore. Maybe it's more like $150 or something like that. That's kind of a tangent, but that's essentially what I mean, though. But long-term price protection. Also, one of the other things that's really advantageous to having solar is it actually protects your roof. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, what if it rips off my roof? No, like it's bolted onto the roof first off. So solar would come off your roof if your whole roof is gone. Okay, but there's a certain amount of factors that really go into damaging your roof, like hail, the sun itself. Well, if you put solar on a part of your roof, it's going to be protected from the sunlight beating down on the roof. It's going to be protected from hail damage because the panels themselves are going to be absorbing those things, okay? And so oftentimes when you have a solar panel or solar system that's removed after 25 years, those shingles or whatever underneath those solar panels, they look pretty new. And it's because they weren't exposed to all those elements, if that makes sense. I alluded to this earlier. The third pro is increasing the value of the home. Again, the studies 4 to 5%. Again, that's based on somebody wanting to pay that additional cost for your home. And like I said, if your home has a lower cost of living versus another home that might be exactly the same, you know, it's subjective. But me personally, I would rather live in a home that has a lower cost of living. So I think that number 3 for pro is definitely increasing the value of your home. Okay. The last thing, and there's debate on this, and some of it can get kind of political, so I don't really harp on it as much as some people do, but it's good for the environment. What I mean by that, so some people believe in climate change, some people don't. I'm somewhere in between. But even if you don't believe in climate change, there's fossil fuels and other ways that our homes are powered and such, excuse me, that causes pollution, okay? Pollution that can affect asthma, bronchitis, you got acid rain, smog, all these things that are more immediate than some climate change or something that's hotly debated, you know? So if you just think of it in that sense, it being beneficial to the air quality, it's like when people go to the country, they're like, oh, the air is just so much cleaner. Well, yeah, because you don't have all that smog, you don't have all that smoke and such that you would have in a major city. Yeah. And it's the same with what I'm saying here, great for the environment. There's less of that burning of coal, there's less of the fossil fuels and all that. So those are my 4 reasons. Again, the cons, the look, the costs, what if you sell your home, roof leaks. I covered all those, answered them as best I could. Again, there's some other objections out there. I'd love to answer if you guys want to throw them in the comments or, tag them on the page. Again, the advantages: long-term price protection. You got the protects the roof, it increases the value of your home, and it's great for the environment. So hope that answers some of the questions. I look forward to seeing you guys again.